Lockdown in London was an eerie sight. For most of April, the UK ground to a halt as people were ordered to stay at home. Household spending plummeted, factory and construction output also fell. The government knew this would have catastrophic consequences for the economy, but realised it had little choice.
Well, when we were talking about this a few months ago, I said that hard times were coming, and today's figures show that hard times are here. Hundreds of thousands of people have already lost their job, and sadly, many more will.
In the 3 months between April and June, the British economy shrank by 20.4%. Because it was the second consecutive quarter of decline, it nudged the UK into a technical recession. But when broken down month by month, the figures in June show the economy actually grew by 8.7%.
Already during the quarter, there was recovery going on. And we got evidence from the later months, like July and August, from the up-to-date indicators of purchasing managers, that the economy is bouncing back pretty fast. And the world economy has already bounced back to pretty much where it was a year ago, even a bit better than that. So there's quite a lot of evidence that as the easing of lockdown has gone ahead, business has recovered quite sharply.
Even though the end of lockdown has Britain springing back to life, it's not out of the woods yet. Tax data shows about 700,000 Brits have lost their jobs since March, and there are fears that figure could get higher when the government's furlough scheme, which has supported businesses to pay wages, soon ends.
My fellow economists, forecasters, are kind of worried quite a lot about unemployment rising and whether that will destroy consumer confidence. But I think they're being too pessimistic about that because they're forgetting, first of all, we've got the furlough. Secondly, there will be some help to follow the furlough.
And of course, there's always the risk of a second lockdown. The number of new COVID infections has started rising again, with more than 1,000 fresh cases a day being recorded this week. For now, the government is sticking to local lockdowns, hoping to keep the national economy ticking over. Sarah Morice, TRT World.
Let's get more on this now with Denis MacShane in London. He's the UK's former Minister of State for Europe and a former Labour Member of Parliament. He's also the author of Brexit No Exit, Why Britain in the End Won't Leave Europe. Welcome back to the program, Denis. Now, we all knew the UK economy would suffer a hit because of coronavirus lockdowns, but why has it suffered the most when compared to other European nations?
That's certainly the big question here. I mean, we have taken the biggest hit to our economy since records started. We're the biggest hit in terms of lost output in the G7, and we're about twice as badly affected as the EU average. I don't think anybody expected it was going to be so rough. My easy answer is that the way we've structured our economy in recent years is very, very quick in and out jobs. People don't have to show identification. They do paid cash in hand. And it's so easy just to fire them, lay them off, shut the place down and move on. And as your reporter rightly said, the only people who've been kept in work are thanks to this so-called furlough scheme. It's incredibly expensive, and the government's proposing to end it. And then I think we'll see unemployment shoot up to levels we haven't seen really much since the war. It's very, very serious.
Yes, let's talk about that furlough scheme, because currently around 9 million Britons are having their wages subsidised by the UK government under this program. And responding to the figures, Chancellor Rishi Sunak said that the scheme would still come to an end at the end of October. You say that will lead to a sharp rise in unemployment. Do you think it should be extended again then?
I think you'll have to extend it, as other countries will. I'm afraid it's not necessarily his fault, don't get me wrong, but we can't allow the entire nation to be on the dole. And so many people are just literally one pay packet away from serious poverty, having to go to food banks, not being able to pay mortgages, not being able to pay car loans, not being able to pay health insurance. And I'm afraid the role of government, if you like, is going to again be as important in Britain as it was. Probably have to go back to wartime days. And they're approaching it in this way in the rest of Europe. But in Britain, there's still this sort of faint hope that we can live through the crisis. I actually think we're going to be living with it for a year or 2 years to come.
But the official data did show that the economy picked up significantly in June when lockdown measures were lifted. Do you expect this trend to continue and that the worst is therefore over for the UK economy?
Unfortunately, the lockdown measures were lifted in a too relaxed way. We've got huge scandals up and down the country of people disobeying the rules. In Aberdeen, in Leicester, in Manchester, we've had to reimpose a lockdown, tell people they can't go out to pubs late of an evening and so forth. So it's tricky, and it's happening in other countries too. And believe me, this is not just a British problem, but I think this is now Judgment Day for the very unbalanced way the economy's been shaped. No, I'm not blaming this government, don't get me wrong, maybe this century, and we haven't got enough stable, solid employment rooted in localities where people work together in a regional, local team to add economic value. It's quick, rich, in and out, dependent on foreign money coming in from Russia, from the Gulf, from Asia, and it's not solidly enough located in British wealth creation. So it's okay. I mean, governments have had to face that in the past. I just think they should be a bit straighter with the British people. This isn't going to end soon.
Okay, Denis MacShane in London, thank you as always for your analysis.